Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today we are joined by someone who sits at the intersection of athletic performance and brand culture. Em Pitomaki is the athlete program manager at LSKD, a brand that you all know we absolutely love. With a passion for empowering athletes and a sharp eye for talent, Em plays a key role in building the community behind one of Australia's fastest growing performers, the culture that's driving LSKD, and how M helps turn potential into performance. So let's get into it. Welcome to the podcast, Em.
Woo! Thanks for having me, friends.
Oh, thank you so much. We're really excited. Different kind of episode today, so it should be really good. But maybe we could start by you giving your own explanation on your job role in LSKD.
Yeah, no worries. So at LSKD, we are a global activewear brand, and I have the pleasure of looking after all of the epic athletes. So a lot of my job is scouting new athletes and also supporting the current athletes that we have. And I get to just really build a really good relationship and be the connector between the athlete and the brand. So that kind of goes with all of the departments that we have. The athletes kind of obviously come in and out of different departments. And so I help kind of, connect them, I guess, to all of the different departments within LSKD. And then I get the pleasure of like going out and watching them on the floor perform.
Yeah,
Amazing.
wild.
Yeah, so cool. And you've got some incredible athletes. Before we maybe go into that a little bit, LSKD has got a lot of brand values and like community is a huge part of that. Um, the driving force behind that, like LSKD just wants to create a space in all fitness, in CrossFit, High Rocks, like just wants to be a big community overall. Could you maybe delve into that a little bit? Yeah, I mean, core values are everything to us. It's the way that we kind of lead every day here. I'm currently at HQ, and you'll notice like create a community. It's one of our 6 core values, and in each kind of like meeting room that we have, there's one core value on the wall, which is kind of cool. But speaking to the values, I guess it just helps us when we're making big decisions, every day, the big decisions and then the small decisions. So whatever we're choosing to do, it's like, we always come back to our core values. Like, and if create a community, for example, is one of our biggest values. So the community always comes first. So if we always have our core values and community in mind, it makes it easier to drive decisions on the daily, but also like, how do we show up for our community as well? Like, yes, at the end of the day, we are a product based brand, but we have way more impact in the community that isn't just driven by product. We have a really cool fitness partnership program, which means we connect with, gyms all around the world and we support them in lots of different ways. We show up anywhere and everywhere. We do lots of random things. Like if you follow us on Instagram, you'll see like one minute we might be at a marathon, next minute we're at a High Rocks, and then we're doing a run and rave at a coffee shop. So I think that's the cool thing about having, I guess, brand values that the whole team is across. It's like we can then just go out into the community and do epic things. And it's not always about, the clothes that are on our back, essentially. It's like, how can we like help our community be better humans, right? Our mission statement is 1% better every day. And it's like, how do we help people do that? Like, how do we show up for the community? Like, what does that even look like, right? It's 1% better, could be anything. And whatever that looks like, we just want to be there, every day supporting them. And we're from Australia, but we want to do this, globally for a long time. And that's kind of where we're at now. We're at the point where we can do cool things in America or Singapore, or hopefully, by the end of this year, fingers crossed, UK as well.
Yeah, you're definitely like making the moves across like globally, and I think like obviously we've been wearing your guys' stuff for a while, and we really bought into LSKD. But for people that don't know and maybe aren't in Australia, haven't seen LSKD for too long, can you explain like behind the name? Like it was Loose Kid, wasn't it? And a bit
Yeah.
behind about the founder and where it all came from, because I think some people are probably like LSKD or LKSD if they haven't quite heard enough about the brand already.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool story. Like Jace, our CEO founder, he's an epic human and a big dreamer. He so pretty much when he was a teenager, he was a semi-professional like motocross rider.
which is epic in itself. And I think he just really wanted to be, you know, a top professional rider, and unfortunately he just didn't get to that point. But he was started making these t-shirts, totally random, over here in Australia. Like, they have kind of like in different locations, they have kind of like their meets. I think that's what they're called.
Yeah.
So they like, you know, like
their races, like,
yeah. So like on the weekend they're all racing and doing stuff, and he just started making these t-shirts out of like his mum's house. But his nickname was Loose Kid, and that was because he was constantly always trying to keep up with the teenagers when he was, you know, a little bit younger. So they nicknamed him, oh, like, you know, you're a loose kid. And he was like, yeah, cool. So the nickname has, like, it was from when he was really young. And he was always, you know, I think he's always been someone that's really strived for greatness or, you know, success. He's a very, very motivated, driven human. And I think if you ever get the opportunity, for anyone listening, like, listen to one of his podcasts. He's a pretty incredible dude. But that's kind of like his nickname. And you know, at the very beginning of the brand, like 2002, it was Loose Kid Industry, went through an evolution, and then it went to, they slightly altered it to LKI. And then actually LSKD didn't come in until 2018. So it's like not really that long ago did it change. And LSKD still stands for Loose Kid, but it kind of shows this evolution of the brand. Like, when they were in the beginning, when they were doing kind of like t-shirts, they did like a lot of motocross stuff. They did, you know, a lot of, like, Jason's friends were into wakeboarding, so they did like wetsuits, and, you know, like, it was a very extreme sports, I guess you'd say. And then it went through the evolution of you know, to now we don't do any of that stuff. But in 2018, that's, you know, when they changed to LSKD and you know, went on this journey of like, hey, like, what do we actually want to do and what do we stand for? And I think that's around the time where they had to make, you know, some changes and really figure out, I guess, their why, and went through the evolution. And then I think a few years later, the core values came into play, and it's just been, I think, such a ride, like, through the years, to see, like, I mean, you guys know, you've been to HQ, but it's like when you walk up to the gym and you see the t-shirts from the very beginning days, you're like, kind of like, oh shit, like like, that's crazy, man. Like, to look back and see like where it started to where it is now, like, it's and where it's going, right? Like, it's like anything, the evolution is crazy. Like, I quite often go over to the product and design area, because we're just actually growing so much, they've actually had to move to another building, and it's like I just get so much like inspiration, and also seeing some of the cool stuff that's coming. Like, man, it's wild. Like, there's some stuff coming later in the year that's going to be absolutely epic, and what we're working on for the future and the technology. And honestly, it's like me coming from fitness, like, I didn't know anything about clothing or anything at all, and I was like, and now I'm just like, whoa, this is a monster.
Yeah. No, it's so true. I mean, we fell in love with the brand when we came across to Oz, and we were doing some traveling and probably bought as much as we could fit in our suitcase to take back home with us. But then I think probably because we saw the brand firsthand, we wore it a lot, and then we like came back home and realized we could order it online and get it delivered back to the UK. But maybe you could explain a little bit about where it is going, because we have a lot of listeners in the UK, and people often message us like, oh, is there a store that we could go to like in the UK to kind of try stuff on, or and we always say, oh, hopefully one day, but you know, at the moment you can get everything delivered, and then kind of work out what your sizing is and that sort of thing. But what is the future looking like? Because it's dominant in Australia, obviously, and now we're seeing it a lot more, you know, in competitions, like on the High Rocks floor, there's loads of people wearing the kit. So people obviously are ordering it from overseas, but what's it kind of like the progression looking like with the UK in mind?
Yeah, look, I think eventually, like, I think the dream is we want to be everywhere, right? Like, we want to have stores globally around the world. But I think one thing that we really love to do is we really want to take our time. And this is kind of something like that I like to do in my space as well, right? Like, I meet some amazing humans, and I like to take my time. I always say to people when I'm having conversations about partnerships or contracts with athletes, I'm like, we're going to date. We're going to date. Like, I don't know about you, but I got to take my time before I like, you know, get married or anything. So the date.
You're a serial dater, Em. How many have you got on the go at once?
Many, you know, and it's like, I think with something like, you know, opening stores, it's like, you don't want to rush it too much, right? Like you want to be able to, like, we want to own our backyard, which essentially is Australia and New Zealand. And like, we still have so much work we can be doing in Australia and New Zealand. And we're still growing, right? So we have a little mini, I call it mini because I think there's about, say, 15 full-time staff in San Diego in the US. Like it's a little HQ with a store. And that's, you know, has been a focus for us for the last couple of years in America, slowly growing there. But I think when it comes to like the UK, I think what we always like to do when we kind of break into any new market is we always build our community first there, and then later on a store comes. So I do know like maybe some of the brands might do it the other way, but we really want to hype our community. We want to nurture our community. We want to find out what the community, you know, essentially wants from us as well. Because if we open a store in say the UK, it's going to be so different from what it looks like in San Diego to then what it looks like in Australia and New Zealand, in the sense of like, depending what the weather is, like what's the fashion there, like everything is obviously so different, right? So I think when it comes to the UK, what I see kind of happening is we're going to start sending over some of our fitness partnership team to go over and do some trips. So we love to do that. So they kind of come over, they connect with the fitness partner gyms, and I think we have like over 1,000 already in the UK. So they'll come over and they might, you know, hit up X amount in a couple of weeks, visit a whole lot of FPs, make new connections, meet lots of different humans, and they'll probably do some kind of like community event. Like it could be like a big shakeout run. It could be, you know, open to the public, some kind of gym event somewhere. And then that's kind of like our first like initial like boots on the ground. And then they'll come back. When they come back, they bring us like, you know, feedback. They tell us like what's happening. And then we go, okay, cool. Well, in a couple of months, we'll send some more people. And then what normally happens is we get like a full-time member in the area. So I would say probably next year at some point, there'll be someone that is full-time in London that works with the brand. And then it'll just kind of slowly start to grow from there, right? So then we get a full-time member. That means we might then start looking for more people to come into the brand. So I honestly, I can't say when there might be a store in the UK because unfortunately that's not really my department.
That's fair.
But one thing I can say is we do free shipping and we do free exchange. So, you know, if you're not really sure about like your size or something, I would just get two and then send the other one back. Or like it is pretty, our community experience team is amazing, and they're kind of like, if anything ever happens with an order or anything, they're like on it straight away. They're absolutely epic, and that's kind of something that we really pride ourselves on, is that if you order something it's not right or something's happened, like we're not robots online, we're humans there. So
Yeah, no, definitely. That makes total sense. And I mean, we can vouch for that. We've ordered from the UK, from Dubai, from everywhere. So no problems getting kit. But no, it's exciting though. It is really exciting. And to see more people wearing it all over at loads of different events, races all over the world is really, really cool. So
it's so crazy, right?
It is pretty, I mean, it must be crazy for you because you've been there like watching it change even just like within a year, because I think you just celebrated your like first year with them, haven't you, just like this week? And what about just like, this is totally off, well, it's not really off topic, but what about you gave away a car, didn't you? Like, I know, what about that moment? Like, you've done some crazy stuff where people you must be like, I'm just giving away a car to like this girl that just,
it's crazy, right? I think like the one thing about LSKD that I love so much is that there's always random opportunities popping up. And it's like, if you say yes, like, you know, you can have lots of different opportunities, and it could look like as random as, you know, calling the person to give away a car. Like, how cool is that? Like, I remember them like talking about it, and then, you know, someone like suggested me, and I was like, oh, really? And they're like, yeah, why not? Like, that'd be fun. Yeah, and actually they, you know, we give away a car, right? And then we fly them up, like, you know, a couple of weeks later, you know, make sure everything's all good with the car, and we fly the people up so they can have a look at the car, and we have lunch with them, give them a tour. And like, it was really wild to see like the person that I FaceTime to give the car away, to then see her and her partner walk in here. I was like, oh, hey, like, remember I run you? And like, but also so wild to be like, hey, this is like your brand new car. Like, the fuck?
It's so crazy. It's like, hey, how are you doing? Here's your car. You just come to pick up your car.
Yeah.
But it's cool, like those kind of things to show that you are invested in the community. And but for you, what a cool opportunity to make someone's day. Like that really would make someone's year, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I've definitely like had some other couple of random things which I think are pretty cool. Like I feel like very fortunate that I was lucky to be like in the Pride campaign. I think that was like something that I was like, it felt really like I was really proud about it. And I think, you know, being in the queer community, it's like, you know, we stand up and we're like, hey, don't forget about me over here. And then to be a part of the like creativity of the campaign, and then to also know that like everyone that was in that campaign was all part of the queer community. I think it's like, wow, like, you know, being part of a brand that really stays true to like what they're putting out there, and even behind closed doors, like even though our doors aren't honestly really closed, like right now I'm in a meeting room that's like completely glass, like, and our door is always open for anyone and everyone, like people can come and tour HQ whenever they like. Yeah, I think, you know, giving away a car, being in the Pride campaign, and then like honestly, you know, there's obviously probably two, like actually there's probably more than two, but a couple of highlights when it comes to like moments with even with the athletes, like you know, being able to be in Hong Kong with Joanna when she won that major, like that was pretty surreal. Like that was crazy. Like just first of all, going to Hong Kong, I was like, oh, in Hong Kong. And then watching, you know, someone that you really believe in, and you know, have an emotional connection with them because you're just so invested in them doing so well. And then to watch them, like when I watched her, you know, do that race, and, you know, I mean, I think probably a lot of us just watched her go over the finish line and was like, wait, is she like not tired?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I know.
She's not going to sit down at one note, okay?
We were like, how come you didn't fall over at the finish line like
yeah,
everybody else does? And she was like,
yeah, you want to go again? Okay.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like I've been very fortunate. Like we have an amazing cliff diver, Xanthia. I've watched her like cliff dive, and she walked me all the way up to the top where she cliff dives, like, and off the platform, and then you know, being obviously the, you know, one of like, for me personally, because I've followed Tia. Like I followed Tia. I told her this story, and this is a bit of a like weird story, but I like used to do CrossFit, and so I was like obsessed with Tia. I actually watched her live. I don't know if you guys remember this, but they used to do an invitational. Do you remember that? They used to have like Team Europe, they used to have Team Oz. And so I watched her at the 2017 invitational, right? And like, because I was obsessed with her. And then I remember like I bought one of the t-shirts. It's like this white t-shirt. And afterwards, like she signed it for me. Like I was that person. Like I was that person that got Tia to sign my t-shirt. Like anyway, and I've taken that t-shirt, friends. Like I have taken that t-shirt with me. Like I said to you before, like I've lived in Canada. I've lived in bloody Tasmania, Australia, New Zealand, like America, like all these random places. I still have that t-shirt, and it's like I've never worn it. It's got the tag on it. It's like brand new, because I didn't want to wear it because I didn't want to wash it because it had Tia's signature on it, and it's got like mold on it now. I've had it for so long.
Have you got a new one now? Surely you've got an LSKD one with like.
I'm going to have to get her next time I see her to sign me one. But I told her, I was like, Tia, I actually sent her a picture of it because I still have it. I like took a picture of it. I was like, Tia, I'm a true fan. Like we get to work together now, but just want to let you know, I've been backing you since all the way back. You're like, you know, first rookie year at the games. So yeah, seeing her, I remember like this specific moment, Torian, just got on the Torian Pro, like in Brisbane here. Her last event, I was like lucky enough to be able to go and watch with her sister Ellie. Her and I have like started to build a really good relationship, and And like, that's one thing that I really love to do, is like get to know the families of my athletes, because I'm like, the family is, you know, probably more than half the reason why they're up there. They've got that support network. So it's really important for me to not only have a really good relationship with my athletes, but also their family. So I remember being with Elle, like just like standing like up this top bit watching her, and like it was like, I think I've even got goosebumps like talking about it, but it was like I just looked at Elle and I was just like, this is incredible. Like I could have never have I don't think my mind could have ever imagined or unlocked the fact that I would be with Tia-Clair Toomey's sister, watching her like win the Torian, but like that moment at the, you know, the event at the very end with the last workout, it was just like, I was just kind of like took this moment where I was like, man, anything is possible. Like literally anything is possible.
Yeah,
I mean,
that is the
wild.
girl that was getting a like, all
like
these
crazy.
young girls now.
Signed.
Yeah, and all these young girls now that'll be, you know, this year, like getting Tia to sign their tops or their, God, it's absolutely crazy. It's so cool though. But then also, you did train with her as well, didn't you? Like, did you ever think you'd be training with her?
No, and oh my gosh, friends, like Tia is someone, when she is like, she loves a chitty chit chat. Like she's a chatter. She loves it. Loves a little chitty chit chat, talk. But as soon as it's like time to go, it's like I haven't really seen many people like that, like have this switch. And it's like, because there was only like 4 of us there, right? So it wasn't like a whole lot of people. We did this partner workout, and it was myself and one of the designers here at LSKD. And then Jace, our CEO founder, was there, and it was a partner workout. So Jace and Tia went together, myself and Em went together. So it was only 4 of us in this space. And I just remember like, because obviously they were so far ahead of us. I just remember like at one point just like watching Tia train, and I was just like, whoa, like the mindset, the energy. And like that was a casual, like, you know, it was a casual workout. Like it wasn't, you know, X amount of time out from High Rocks or Torian or anything like that. It was just like a really fun casual sesh. And I was just like, whoa, this human is so dialed in. Like the way that switch just turns on from like, hey, yay, fun to like, let's fucking go. Like I don't think like been in such a close like area with someone like that. And I was just like, and then I was like, literally guys, it was the sunny coast and it was like one of the hottest days, and we were running on her farm, and I was like literally dying. It was like the peak of sun. Like it was like midday, guys, and it was like probably fucking 12 UV out there.
Dying, but living your dream,
guys. And I was
living my best life, but also hating every second.
Literally, like I remember saying to my friend, like when we were like running down Tia's like bloody, like it's like gravel because like a farm where her gym is. I remember just running and being like this is like, and I remember like being like, I'm dying, but also like I can't believe I'm like doing a session with Tia-Clair Toomey. Like what the heck is life? At the same time, I was like on fire because it was like 100 degrees. But no, it's like when stuff like I can't believe it now. Like when I have, you know, opportunities like that come up, I'm like, yes. Like no matter what. Like, and do you know what? That day after we did that, we did a little bit of lifting, and Tia is obviously a phenomenal lifter, but also like, you know, she was giving us a few coaching tips on just like lifting, and it was like, I think we were just doing like maybe like clean and jerks, and even the few pointers that she was kind of giving me. And like I think one thing that Tia does so well, and I think we're starting to see a lot more of this through content, is like she's in your corner. Like she's in your fucking corner. Like if she's like, you know, like she's that, doesn't matter, like it's like effort over everything, right? Like doesn't matter if you're lifting 100 kilos or 50 kilos, like it's like she's in your corner, she's backing you. And I remember like I was doing some lifting and she's like, yeah, like she pretty much just said to me, don't ever like be scared to own the space, like own it, like fucking own that bar. And I think she was like, don't ever be scared to be who you are. Like she said something like that to me, like in that moment. And I was like, am I in a movie? Like, but like just so inspirational and just so like she's just was so present in supporting us, like, you know, and we're just having a bit of a lift.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, you could see that in your point about being in your corner from just watching the CrossFit Games then, and she was phenomenal, amazing, like congratulations, and amazing to be able to win for an 8th time. But I think after the final event, she crossed the line to take the win, but then went to cheer on Maddie, who was still going, like a fellow athlete. And it's just that kind of camaraderie, the team ethic, she's just done something unbelievable, and is still thinking, but there's still another athlete part of my team on the floor, like I need to go and cheer her on. Like it's which I guess aligns with all of the brand values of LSKD and the community, and it's cool.
It's crazy, right? It's so cool to see, and I think that's what, like, she's really, I guess, like set the standard for us in terms of like athlete relationship as well, because we have such a good relationship with her, and it's like, one of the things is like one of our core values, sweep the sheds, and what that means is like it's like no one is too big for the team, right? Like Jace doesn't have a special CEO car park out the front. It's like whoever gets here first, like, if you want to get here early, you're going to get the good parking spot. If you get here late or closer to 8 a.m., you're probably going to be out in the street. But it's like sweep the sheds. And I think that's one thing with Tia. It's like she's so humble, hungry, smart, and she is like, when we like kind of speak to, or when we're looking at like athletes, right, like this kind of topic comes up a lot. It's like, what are you looking for? Like, what's LSKD looking for? And it's like, well, Tia, no, just a joke.
eight CrossFit Games championships, and we might consider you.
No, we're always looking for like humble, hungry, smart, and just like good humans. Like at the end of the day, like, there's hundreds, probably thousands of phenomenal athletes out there, and it's like what we do, it might be a little bit different from other brands, is like we will align with the person, or the people that are most aligned with our core values and are good humans. Like you don't have to be, top, the top of the game, right? You don't have to be the best in any, like, you don't have to be the top of High Rocks or CrossFit or anything like that. Like, it's like, are you aligned to our core values? Do you know our core values? Actually, that's kind of like one thing that, like, if I get onto meetings with someone, one of the most common questions I'll always ask athletes when I'm having a first initial conversation, I'll be like, we've got 6 core values. Like, one, first of all, do you know them? Right? Because like, to me, it's like, if you're wanting to align yourself with a brand, it's just like me, if I want to get a job somewhere, I want to do my research, right? Like, I want to do the research so I know, so that if something like a question like this comes up, like, I know, because I want to be aligned to the brand, therefore I should know the core values. If I'm having an initial meeting for a job or for a like partnership, and that's any partnership from community all the way up to a paid contract, it's like, you should do your research and look at the core values of the brand, or look at like, what's the mission statement, right? And then, so that's kind of like a first question. And if they're like, yeah, I know the core values, then quite often what I'll say is like, what are your favorite 2? And can you tell me why? And, if I have a conversation with someone and they're like, oh, don't know the core values, it's like, okay, well, maybe like, let's have a conversation when you have the opportunity to do the research and get more aligned. Because alignment to us is like, just know, our mission statement and our core values. It's like, they're so important to us. It's how we're led. You might be the best athlete in the world, but if you're not aligned with us in our, values, it's the relationship just, I don't think will work as well. It won't be as successful on both sides, right? Like, that's what I think anyway.
Yeah. And you talk about, we had a bit of a chat about it at the beginning, about it being like a partnership as well, and not just being like, what can you do for me? As in like, LSKD, can you kit me out? And great, I don't have to buy kit anymore. It's more of a partnership. What kind of things do you look from for an individual, like partnership wise?
Well, we really want to help people build as well, right? Like, it's not like we have multiple Tia-Clair Toomeys. Tia-Clair Toomey is our the GOAT, right? We've got some other really phenomenal athletes. But what we want to help people do as well is help build their brand, or we might want to help the athlete on their own journey as well. So it's like, not only do we have, obviously there are going to be some contracts that will have a retainer, but we want to help the actual human. So it might be like, hey, can we do vision and goals with you? Like vision and goals are really big within our brand. We have vision and goals. We are in a cycle at the moment where we're going through it throughout the year, and we have like different workshops and stuff like that. So we want to help humans, I guess, like navigate like what's next. So yes, we help them now, like they're going to events, cool, we're going to help them with that, we'll support them, we'll help them, whatever that looks like. But for a lot of our athletes, we want to be like, hey, like how can we support you in X amount of time when you might be looking to do something else? Or hey, maybe your athlete career is over, like what can we do to help you and support you? Can we do a vision and goal session with you? Can we connect you with, we don't offer shoes, like can we help connect you with a shoe brand? Can we help connect you with, this other person? We know that you're thinking of opening a gym. We've got this really good real estate person. Can we help you with this? So I guess for us, we want to help athletes, not just in a, monetary transactional way. We want to be like, hey, how can we actually help you even more than that? And I think that's what helps build the closer relationship, and it becomes like kind of like family. So it's like, we want to have relationships that aren't just transactional, and kind of like what you said, like it's not just about the kid, it's like it's about so much more. Like we've got, for example, an athlete, Brie Rizzo, who actually works on my team and also
I was going to bring Brie up, because she's such an epic female athlete. We have to talk about Brie, but
we have to get her on your podcast.
Yes, we do. Yeah,
definitely. She can give everyone a bit of like the ergs or something.
Oh, sorry, Faye, we lost you, I think. Yeah, your thing stopped. Say it again.
Oh, sorry. I was saying she'll have to give everyone a bit of some coaching advice on how to run faster, or how to like run out of the ergs, or how to finish strong, because she's like an immense 100-meter sprinter, isn't she, for Australia?
Yeah, she's an amazing human. Like I think she's a bit of a unicorn, honestly. Like she's a phenomenal athlete, like very high like highly driven human in the sense of like career, and also like she's one of those athletes that's really good at like storytelling and content as well. She's a bit of a unicorn in that sense. And so like and why I bring her up is like she's an amazing athlete, right? But she also works with us. So it's like she knows like, hey, like I'm not going to be a 100-meter sprinter forever, but like she's got all these things in place. Like she works here doing PR, media. She also does like the run athletes with me. So it's like she's got kind of like lots of different options. She's really kind of lent into the product and design team to design her own athlete like track kit. So like I guess what we want to try and do is not just have a relationship with an athlete that's like, oh, here, you go do that thing and wear our stuff, cool, sweet. It's like, well, no, like what else can we do? Like, is there something that you really want to work towards? Can we help you do it? You might like I remember when like Joanna and I first met, like it was like a year ago pretty much, before I think she'd done one High Rocks race maybe, and I think she was coming into Brisbane. And like it's as crazy as like when I first met her, I think she had like 1,800 followers, and it's like, that's not to say that like LSKD did that, no, but we can help. Like we'll help as much as we can, right? We'll do a we'll do a 1% better story with an athlete, which will help, like we'll collab with them and be like, hey, like can we help? Like what can we do to not only grow your brand, but also help you for what's going to come in the future, whatever that may look like, or whatever you may want to be working towards.
Yeah. And I think with Joanna as well, because when she came on board with you guys, she was young. She also didn't have a lot of experience in the High Rocks world. And like even when we were up in Brisbane, we came to HQ on the same day, and you guys had organised like a photo shoot with her and just all these things. And we were like, oh, she looks quite at home. Like she really took it in her stride to do like the photo shoot, the workout. And it was cool to see, I guess, having the support of such a big brand and all these individuals, and even people like Brie, who has raced at ridiculously high levels, being able to speak to Joanna on the same level and talk about the success that she's having. That support can take someone so much further than them just doing it maybe on their own, especially when they're a young athlete. It was it was cool to see firsthand, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. And even like I even think about like how Brie like you know, she'll often like reach out to the athletes and be like, hey, if you need any help or suggestions with social media or content creation, or because as we know, like if an athlete is wanting, say, multiple partnerships because an athlete needs to make money, right? At the end of the day, they got to make money to live so they can be a full-time athlete. It's like having the help from someone like Brie or our content team or our head of content or our videographers and stuff like that, the more that obviously they as a personal brand grow, the more opportunities they will have as well from, you know, other brands, other anything and everything. And we want to help them with that. Like we might be apparel, but like they might want to have, you know, like a watch brand, or they might want to have a recovery brand or a shoe brand, or, you know, a nutrition supplement brand. So it's like, if we can help them navigate that as well, then like we're going to do that. We'll be a connector. You know, if we've got an awesome brand that we think they might be aligned, then we'll help them do that. We'll help connect them together, or, you know, we'll help create content. Like if someone's partnered with, you know, like I know, for example, Bree's partnered with Whoop. So it's like, you know, if we have the opportunity and we're doing a shoot with her for LSKD, and it's like, we'll help her then in that same shoot be like, oh, maybe we can add something on to help, you know, because she's got a Whoop on or something like that. You know what I mean? Like if that's going to help grow her, we're going to do that, because it's like, it's always what's best. Like what is best for the athlete at the end of the day can also help us. And that's where it becomes such a mutual partnership. If Bree grows, we grow, like, and that's how we kind of look at it. Like we're a family, and, you know, like we're all rising with the tide together.
Yeah. I think it's such a nice thing to hear you say, because it's so like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's so positive, and it's not competing against like everyone or trying to, I don't know, hold someone back or think they're just for our brand. You know, it's about growing and like having this positive experience and getting the best out of everyone and each other and being in it as a team. And I think that's a really nice thing to hear, instead of, yeah, maybe a more negative kind of trying to put people into little areas. Do you know, does that make sense?
Yeah, the space. I think it's like the space for everyone, isn't there? And if you lift people up, you can go with them, rather than thinking, oh, you're going to hold someone back, or I don't want to do that because of, you know, this brand, or we don't want to lose them to that brand. It's like trusting that you support someone and work with them, and people work with you, and you're better together, aren't you? It's like, that's the thing, grow together rather than trying to do something on your own. What do I say? Like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That kind of
100%. And I think as well, like I just want to give my athletes the best support, the good, like a really good experience, because like at the end of the day, like partnerships are going to end, and that's just how this industry works, right? Unfortunately, we can't just keep someone forever and a day. At some point in time, people switch, they change, they might retire, like things just chop and change. And I think, you know, we have to be always, you know, future thinking for the youth. We've got to give the youth opportunity to come up and come through, like, so that we can support the younger generation essentially. But also it's like, if I'm giving a really honest, you know, transparent, like good relationship to my athletes, then I know at the end of the day, like if the partnership ends, it's like I gave it my all and I was a really good, open, honest human. And I think like that's the main thing when Brie came onto the team at the end of the year, because before she came onto the team, she was working mainly in just PR, and now she's coming to like really kind of own these runners and the track athletes. We sat down and we were like, hey, like what are a few things that are really important to us for our space and our team, and like the big thing that came up is being transparent, open, and honest. And that's kind of like what internally in our team, what we always come back to is like, just always be open, honest, and transparent. And that's going to form a really good relationship, because it's going to be honest at the end of the day. And that's important to our athlete team, is that like, I want to be able to, you know, talk to Tia and say, hey Tia, like, how are you feeling? Like, are you up to doing this thing? And I want her to be able to tell me the truth, right? I want her to be able to say, look, Em, not feeling it today. I really need to focus on X, Y, and Z, or like, yep, no worries. And like, if I can build that really good relationship with my athletes, I know that it's going to be a really good partnership, right? I don't want to have to be, you know, an athlete manager that's like, oh, like, you know, you didn't do this deliverable or whatever it is. It's like, I want to have a really good relationship where it's like, we can talk things through. If something's not working for the athlete, I want them to be able to come to me and say, hey, Em, you know, this is what's happening for me. And I can be like, yeah, cool. Like, let's talk about it. Like, I think communication is the key always. And that's really how I tried to lead our, you know, LSKD athlete team. At the end of the day, I just want the athletes to feel like they can have a shitty chit chat if they need to.
Yeah.
You're definitely the best person for that.
Yeah, it's so important. It really is. And then maybe touching on like the different spaces that we're seeing LSKD come up in. We've got high rocks, we've got athletes CrossFit, we've got track. Is there's a whole range, isn't there? Like it's everywhere. It's not like it's not just one specific area. Is there any that you're trying to break into, or is there any
I don't think there's
not touched? You've probably touched all areas.
I think when it comes to like you know, when it comes to the brand, we've got like run, train, streetwear. They're kind of like our three different pillars, right? So it's like, well, run can be so broad. It could be ultra, it could be bloody indoor, outdoor, track, it could be marathons. Like, there's so much that that is in that section, right? It's like, if you do this in any way, shape, or form, that's kind of called running, right? Like, and then like yeah, when it comes to like even like our functional fitness and stuff like that, we'll like get involved if the right people align. Like, we have the saying here at LSKD, it's like, if the right people are on the bus, and that kind of means it's like, hey, we're going this direction. If you're the right human, like, come for a ride, get on the bus with us and we'll give it a go. And I think that's one thing that I love about the brand, is that we are, you know, we're kind of like open. We're like open to working with the right people, open to collaborating with the right people. If everything is kind of aligned, then we're like, cool, let's try it out, right? Like, I think in the athlete space, we have a bit of a strategy for sure, but also if an amazing epic unicorn human comes along and they, like, I don't know, they do parkour, like,
why not?
Wild.
Can you wear LSKD clothing while you do parkour? I think so, right? Like, sure.
You have to run a little bit, don't you, to get the energy to jump off that rooftop.
I mean, because we have, like, you know, we've got you know, Shayna Jack, who's like an Olympic swimmer. Like, you know, she got multiple gold medals at the Olympics last year, 2024, and we have just recently signed in a phenomenal tennis player. We don't have tennis wear, but, you know, can we create special tennis wear for this one human? Like, yeah, we'll make it happen. Like, we'll move fast and we'll break shit. And that's another one of our core values. And, you know, Destiny is an amazing person. And it's like, she just aligns with us so much that it's like, were we looking specifically at tennis? Like, no, we weren't. But, like, she's an awesome human. And that kind of, like, that's why we've got, like, and then we've got two BMX, you know, one female, one male BMXer who both of them went to the Olympics last year. You know, Xanthia, who is the, you know, cliff diver. We've got, honestly, there's a lot of unreal humans in our kind of like, in our like team. There's just, and they're so awesome, and they're all so different, which I really love. Like, they're all really different, but if you kind of line them up together, like, the thing that they all have in common is they're all really good humans.
Yeah, definitely. And then can we bring it into like the hybrid, like strength running space, because we've started to see, especially over in the UK, a few more people wearing LSKD, names like Zara and Lottie. Any words on these guys, or anybody else that you're like potentially partnering with? Or
I think like both those athletes, so both Lottie and Zara are signed to the brand, so they are our athletes. Lottie is doing some really cool stuff. I love how she's in different spaces, which I think is really cool. I think it's always amazing when people dabble between like CrossFit and high rocks and you know, whatever, when they're doing multiple different things. I think it's really impressive because it's all so different. And at the end of the day, it's all just moving your body right, which is what we all want want to be doing. Zara for me, like I first met Zara, I think just before Nice World Champs, and I was really drawn to her because I was just like, her energy is so warm. I mean, you guys have met her. She's a warm human, and she's just so lovely. And so we were on our dating journey for like a year, to be honest.
That's a long one.
That was a long dating period. And
slow burner. Zara's a slow burner.
Yeah. But you know, something that I just love about Zara is she is hungry, humble, smart. Like, and you guys know, you've seen her race. Like, every end of every race, she's always just got a really good attitude. And that's what I love about her. And she always has just got such kind words to say about anyone and everyone, and who she is as a person. She's a good, kind human. And I can't think of any, you know, one better to represent us in the UK as well, like in that high rock space, as we kind of lean into bringing on more UK, Europe athletes, because that's what we're doing right now. We do have a bit of a focus in the UK and Europe. So, I mean, you know, I've been getting on, you know, getting online with lots of conversations with lots of different athletes and agents and managers. But it's like what I said, I just really like taking my time to get the right fit. I remember getting up and being in a meeting with Lottie and our San Diego team. I got up at 3 a.m. to meet Lottie. Yeah, it was crazy.
Hardcore dating, that is.
Right? Like it was like UK time, San Diego time, and then Brisbane time. But I mean, I love my job and I have so much passion for my job. It doesn't bother me at all, because if it's an opportunity to meet someone that we're going to essentially be marrying, getting into contract with, it's like, it's important that we have these conversations. So yeah, Zara, I'm really excited. We'll be able to, you know, start to work with both Zara and Lottie a little bit more, especially as like our team starts traveling to the UK. I definitely want to be at World Champs next year in Europe. And then also hopefully Zara will be coming over to Melbourne for High Rocks at the end of the year, the major, which will be cool. So I think we'll start to see a little bit more happen. But yeah, we've been able to gift a lot of really awesome athletes over there. I think, you know, there's a few people that you might see popping up with LSKD, and that's kind of part of, like, I guess my job, right, is to connect, and it's more about, like, my thing about giving product to humans to try. Honestly, I always say this, and I can be really open about this, there's never any expectation to post. The most important thing is that they enjoy the product and give me feedback. That's kind of like, to me, that's like truly giving a gift, or, you know, is giving without expectations. And that's how we work at LSKD. There's never any like, hey, I'll give you this fit if you post X, Y, and Z. We don't operate like that. If you want to post it, for sure, like, go for it, like, cool. But honestly, it's all about, like, do you actually like the product? Because that's the most important thing, right? You don't want to get into, I guess, a contract with someone if you don't actually like the product, because you're going to be in it a lot, right? Do you like the shorts? Can you do high rocks in the shorts? Can you train in the shorts? Do you like the singlet? Do you like the bra? Like, those things are so important. And I think, you know, I think that when it comes to that top level, sometimes I feel like that can be a little bit annoying for the team. Like, if, you know, you are an elite high rocks athlete and you have to put on an outfit that you might not be that comfy with, or you might not like, I do think that that's a bit hard, like, if you're not used to wearing a certain brand. But I think you're always going to perform better if you like the clothing, feel comfortable in the clothing, and you're confident. Like, you want to feel like you can do all of the things, and, you know, your bloody butt cheek's not going to fall outside, or, you know, I don't know.
No,
Right?
it's
It
true.
makes a difference.
It's a good point. It's a very good point.
You don't want to be running, you know, I think the last thing when you're doing a high rocks race that you want to be worried about is, like, if your shorts are in your asshole or not.
Yeah. It's like, when people are like fiddling with their clothes. You don't want to be like awkward or fiddling with something or feeling uncomfortable. It's just one thing you just need to, and I think we've said this a lot when we've trained in different clothes or different shorts, and we've definitely worn different LSKD shorts quite a bit, actually, and we'd wear them. But if you, like, Em will wear something and I'll be like, oh, what do you think of those shorts? And she's like, oh, I didn't even notice them. And I'm like, that's like the best thing ever, when you don't even notice what you're wearing because you're so comfortable. You haven't pulled them down, you haven't pulled them up. That's when you know you're in something that's super comfortable.
Yeah, you've got to perform well in your clothing, right? Like sometimes I look at the boys and I'm like, oh, you guys are so lucky. Like, you know, sometimes I look at them and I'm like, you just run around with some bloody shorts on. Or like we've got this pair of men's shorts. It's called the race day shorts, and they're kind of like men's version of like, you know, like tights. And like honestly, I've seen boys race in them and they just look so comfy. Like they're just like doing their thing. And they just look so happy, no top on, living their best lives. And I'm like, you guys just do not understand what it's like to have bits and pieces, and like, it's just not okay. I'm like, you guys just don't understand.
Yeah, you got it so much easier. I know. And I know it's not your department, but for the clothing, you gave us a little insight when we came to HQ, but the process, like I think I was like shocked. It's huge, like for the new fabrics or new designs. Like, could you just give a little snippet of for people listening of what goes into it? I know it's not your specialty, but
well, I know like the very basics. I know that we
that's okay. That's better than what I know.
I think like, well, they're always designing as like essentially a year out. So essentially we've already done our buying. So that means we've essentially committed to a collection or X, Y, and Z, right? So we've already done that for, you know, nearly all of next year, probably up till like this point in time, but 2026. So that's in itself, I think, is wild that they have to be able to obviously forecast forward a year, like, you know, think about colors, think about, you know, direction and trend a year forward. And then we're always thinking like, you know, if we're working on, say, like a Hyrox short or something like that, it's like we want to be getting real-time feedback. So the team will, like, we have multiple samples that come through. So you might see a design of a pair of shorts, right? But that pair of shorts could come to HQ and have like, it could be like come in 10 different samples before it even gets ticked off. And that could take, for a brand new product, like say a brand new pair of shorts that you know have just been created, could be a year or 2 years, so they get it perfect. The team really don't want to release something unless it's they're really happy with it. I mean, we're always looking for feedback and to get better. So I do kind of like always say to people, like, if you've got feedback, send us an email, jump on the chat online, like really, or get into the Facebook group. We've got, I think, over 100,000 people on that, and you can, you know, people are constantly monitoring that. It's like the more feedback that we can get from direct community, the better we can do with our product. And you know, it's even as simple as like people might be like, hey, like I want to get this certain pocket so that when I run and want to make sure that, you know, my key fits in it, so it needs to be this dimension or this design, or hey, the run belts are awesome, but I've found that I can't fit in the, you know, the bigger iPhone. Like maybe it only fits like the normal iPhone. And it's like all of these little things. It's like we get the feedback from the community and we go, okay, cool. So they like this run belt, but like, okay, maybe we need to make another run belt, but the other run belt's a bit bigger, so it fits the, you know, the people that have that bigger iPhone, right? And so we're always looking at like what's coming next. Obviously we've got some stores in New Zealand, so it's really important that we can put like, you know, or even for Melbourne, like colder clothes in the winter because it's cold, like our Christchurch store, like, you know, it gets cold over there, and even in Melbourne, right? So I think like the product and design team is always working so hard. Like it's crazy the amount of stuff they come up with. I'm always just like blown away with their creativeness. Like I'm always like, oh, how did you guys even think of that? And then obviously we have athlete collections as well. So we have a few athletes that, you know, we'll work on with collections. And then they still have to be designed like a year out. And then they'll go through such a process of samples until the team and the athlete is happy. Like, are they happy with what the product is? Is it, you know, do they like the cuts, the design, how it sits, how it feels, like, you know, all of those things come into account. But in terms of like product and design, all I know is that they work really, really, really hard. They love feedback, and they'll try to make I remember when I first started a year ago, I got given this really cool functional backpack. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, why am I even getting this? And I remember because I think they had a shipment of about 1,000 or 1,500 come in, and something just wasn't that right. I think it was like a little zip or something, but I know that they just weren't perfect. So we ended up actually giving away 1,500 bags, just giving them away to like the staff and the community and stuff like that. And they're like epic bags. Like, I love my functional backpack. And then we re-released it. So like a year later, re-released exactly the same backpack, but just made it slightly more elevated. And it's like, the team would always do that. If something comes and it's not just right, or it's not exactly how they want it, they're not scared to be like, actually, no, let's wait. We want to make sure we bring this product out that is like good to go for the community. And we're really, really happy with it. So I think that's one thing that they do. They really, really pride themselves on having, you know, exceptional products so that the community is happy.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
that's so
crazy.
cool.
It's just interesting, the process.
Yeah, it's I think just the fact you think a year ahead, like for like trends and colors. And I say, if you're thinking about coming over, like Europe, UK, even America, are they looking into like rainwear and really warm thermal jackets? Because
Yeah, I know, right? It's cold.
it's
I think like we have got a couple of like a few actually different like jackets which they've really put time and effort to and revamped them this year. We've got like a puffer jacket, puffer vest, we've got thermals, we've got a few different jackets, but I think as each year comes around, like I think we'll just elevate and elevate. Like I think, you know, next year we're going to do a big winter focus on like accessories, so that, you know, like gloves, running gloves, like beanies and stuff like that. So I think it's just a matter of, now that we've got this like really good momentum, it's like, you know, like pretty much just like, just watch us go, because we're like a rocket and we just don't want to stop.
Yeah,
so
it's so
cool.
cool.
I
Even
mean,
all the like leisure wear. I mean, I just bought one of
yeah, I was
the
gonna say it's 50 degrees here at the moment in Dubai, and Em gets a package, and I was like, "What have you got?" And she's like, "Oh, this is my what was it? It's like the fluffy
it's the
thermal
fluffy,
jacket."
oversized like fleece. And I was like, well, we're going back to Scotland soon. The
I was
Sherpa
like,
one, yeah. I was like, I need this in Scotland. She was like, it's 50 degrees. I was like, yes, but next month when we go home, I'll be living in this and you'll be jealous. So
Yeah.
I was like, "What a thing to buy!" Oh God, crap me up.
It's hard because it's like you see like so our like headquarters, obviously there's a store at the front of our headquarters, so and we always are, you know, the first store to get all the new stuff coming in, which is epic. And I always like walk through it and I'm like, I just sometimes have to just look straight ahead, because I'm like, I don't need any more t-shirts, I don't need any more oversized t-shirts, like I don't need any more. But I'm like, this is so cool, like stop dropping all these really like epic bloody hoodies and t-shirts, and then like they're going to come around to summer soon. Like it's a really beautiful day out there right now, like it's starting to warm up, and I'm like, I don't need any more like hoodies or track pants. And I'm like, I've just got to stop. Like,
Yeah, it's so funny, isn't it? And then I think when we were traveling around Australia and New Zealand, every time we got somewhere, I was like, "Is there an LSKD store?" I was like, "We're doing like a tour of LSKD." I was like, "We literally have no more room left in our bag to take our kit home." Oh, so funny.
no more.
Well, that probably rounds us off nicely. I've got one more question for you, that we close the podcast with, which would be, what message or advice would you give to your younger self or the next generation coming up? So I don't know if you've got something that you could, a little message you could give everyone.
I think honestly, it would be like, try to be as authentic and honest with yourself and who you are as a human. I think sometimes we're so scared to be our true selves because, you know, we don't want to be judged. But at the end of the day, I think if you're living, you know, who you're meant to be, you're being authentic and just being an honest, good human. It's like life will take you on the way that you're meant to go. And I think it's easier when you come to that realization a little bit younger, right? Like I think so many of us, we sit here, you know, like I'm in my 30s, so I sit here, you know, as a bloody 30, nearly 35-year-old, and I'm like, oh, I only figured that out like the last couple of years. Like my life is so much more better now that I am who I'm meant to be and I'm in alignment with like my true self, right? Like, so if you can kind of like, you know, try and be who you truly are, then I think your path is just kind of set out for you, and you will then, you know, go where you're meant to go.
Yeah, 100%. Great answer.
Yeah,
I
so
think.
true. But it does take a while, doesn't it, to work it out? I mean, does anyone work it out when they're young? Like, I think your parents and like everyone tells you to like, oh, just be you, do what you want to do. And then it's so hard to do, isn't it? So hard to do. But it's such good advice.
And where can everybody follow you or LSKD, find out about if there's pop-ups or events, or like at High Rocks is when they do the LSKD hubs and all that sort of thing? Could you let everyone know where to find?
So pretty much if you go to our main Instagram account, LSKD on Instagram, in the bio, there's all the other accounts that we have. We have like a running one, a USA one, but that's our main account. That's kind of where you can find everything and anything LSKD related. My Instagram is just literally my name. It's like Em_Pitomaki. Not too much interesting stuff happens there, but if you want to get in contact with me about anything athlete related, for sure, slide into my DMs and maybe we can start to date.
I'd also like disagree that your Instagram isn't interesting, because like there's not many people that are just like, oh, I'm just hanging out with Tia today. Oh, I'm just hanging out with Joanna today. Oh, I'm just, I think it's pretty interesting to follow.
Oh, thank you, my friends.
No, you've been great. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it, and I hope everyone can start to see why we love LSKD so much and has enjoyed learning a bit more about the brand, about the processes, and can maybe go and get themselves some kit to try out at their next races or training sessions. Thank you so much.
That's all good, my friends. Thank you for having me.